Welcome everyone. In today's video I'm going to explain to you how you can go leveraged long most coins in the Solana ecosystem using leveraged yield farming. So you'll be able to use Francium or Tulip to do this. So any assets that are listed on either one of these platforms you'll be able to go leveraged long on. So that's about 35 different coins that you'll be able to get leverage exposure to. Now this information today mostly pertains to Solana tokens and the Solana ecosystem, but you will have equivalent protocols across every other chain. So on Avalanche, on Polygon, on Ethereum layer 2s, all of those other chains as well will have leveraged yield farming platforms in which you are also able to execute these same strategies. So this video is only going to be part one of a 3-part series where I talk about how to get leveraged long exposure in the Solana DeFi ecosystem. So if you're watching this in the future, maybe a week or so after this video is actually released, then you'll be able to check out the other 2 parts linked in the description down below. So through leverage yield farming, you can get leveraged long exposure to certain different coins. Francium has an excellent calculator here, which should be able to visually explain what's going on. So let's just say, for example, you were bullish Sol and you wanted leveraged long exposure to Sol, but you've only got USDC on you. So what you do, you go to Francium and then you'd leverage yield farm the Sol USDC pool or the USDT pool if you wanted to. And you do that at 3x leverage and you would borrow USDC. So I've set this chart to end in 30 days because I think that taking on leveraged long positions in crypto for 2-3 months can be very dangerous, because every 2 or 3 months we have a 50% leverage wipeout and you'd most likely get liquidated. So I've set this to 30 days, but it doesn't really matter too much. This is just for the sake of example. So this chart will show you how much money you'd make by hodling or leveraged farming. So at the end of a 30-day period, given that the price of Sol doesn't move, your equity leveraged yield farming would be 107%, which is a 7% gain, versus simply holding Sol would give you a 0% gain. So if the price of Sol went up 20% in that time, you got a 20% gain on your Sol, but your leveraged yield farming position has a 37% gain. At a 50% move at the end of 30 days, Sol's obviously moved 50%, but your leveraged yield farming position has returned 75%. So I'm going to lay out all the figures for you and explain the maths behind this so you can better understand what's going on. So you start off with 100 USDC and you're bullish Solana. So you would go to the Sol USDC farm and you would 3x leverage and you'd be borrowing USDC to do this. So what happens is that you borrow an additional 200 USDC and your position is now 300 USDC. So to actually farm Sol USDC, you can't just have one asset. You need to have half Sol, half USDC. So this 300 USDC is then split up into a 50-50 position of Sol and USDC. So now you have $150 worth of Sol in that farming position and $150 worth of USDC. So effectively what you have done there is you have turned $100 worth of USDC into $150 worth of Sol long exposure, giving you a 1.5x leverage long to the price of Sol. So like I said before, as you can see here, right, the price change for Sol, if it went up 50%, your leverage yield farming position has gone up 75%, which is the equivalent of a 1.5x leverage long. So to actually go ahead and execute this, you would need to go to Francium. We'll go to farm, and listen, I'm showing you how to do this with Solana, but you can really do it with any asset that you see here on Francium. Right, so Atlas, Wormhole ETH, Serum, Ray, DeFi Land, Sushi, Uni, Samo, Gene, Polis, everything that you see here, you can go leverage long on. Well, you can get 1.5x leverage long at least. Obviously, you don't have to 3x leverage it, but you have to at least do leverage yield farming with at least 2x leverage. So I'll click on farm, and then I'll type in $100 and we'll set this to 3x leverage, and the asset to borrow has to be USDC. If you borrow SOL, you're actually entering a short position, so make sure it's USDC. And you can set a stop loss on this if you want. This is one of the risks of doing leveraged yield farming, is that you can potentially get liquidated, and you have liquidation risk on most of the other strategies as well, so you have to manage that. But yeah, we'll do this. Asset to borrow is USDC. So like I said before, you have 100 USDC, you borrow 200, that means you have 300 USDC in total, and that is split up into a 50-50 position of $150 worth of SOL and $150 worth of USDC. And you can see it here. Assets supplied 100 USDC, assets borrowed 200 USDC, and this is total assets in your position value. And so that's 150 USDC and 0.861 SOL. And we can press farm. And once this transaction goes through, I will have 1.5x leverage long exposure to the price of SOL. Great. So if I click this, yep, there we go. So if I click on position details here, I'll be able to see what my liquidation price is. So if the price of SOL moves minus 36% today, then I get liquidated. So to close this position, all you'd need to do is press withdraw. And I'm just going to have this all be withdrawn in USDC. And then you can take out the amount that you want. Press withdraw. And then approve this transaction. So, okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do this strategy on Tulip as well. So Tulip is another leverage yield farming platform. In fact, I think it's probably better to go leveraged long here rather than Francium, because you have a greater choice of coins. So if I just scroll down here, we have a lot more coins here to actually go leveraged long versus on Francium. But let's just say I wanted to go leveraged long Orca. We'll press farm. And so I can supply 100 USDC. We set this leverage to 3 and the borrow asset to be completely USDC. If you leave it like this so that it messes up your actual leverage long, so 100% USDC borrowing, and we can press farm. And once I approve this transaction, I'll be 1.5x leverage long Orca. Okay, so here we go. We go to, so if I go to your positions on this tab here, we can see that my leverage long has been opened up. And if you want to close this position, all you'd need to do is press close. And then I want to convert it all into USDC. And then I can press close position and I'll receive my USDC back.